Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing well. I was just thinking with that Gnostic informant where Tove Singer, Rabbi Tove, was on there. I wonder if they're going to have a follow up on that. Maybe not, because he did challenge Christians, but from what I could tell, there was two Christians. One was of German or Jewish, probably German. Yeah, there's a lot of German Jews that ended up on the Isle of Wight or Isle of Man, and were some depending, I suppose, on who you were there. They used some for slaves, and others were like maybe of what they call the royal bloodline. Who knows? God knows, right? I wasn't there, so I couldn't say for certain, but it's just curious that a lot of people of Jewish descent and German heritage ended up in England or the UK of some sort. And it's also strange, like in my country, after World War II, and even prior to World War One, they were involved with German scientists, but that we would hire multitudes of German scientists and other people to come over into our country and teach the people in this country science. That blows me away. Oh, and that reminds me of like scientists, or they say they're scientists. Like somebody, take for instance, like Neil deGrasse Tyson. If somebody were into like microbes or particle physics or quantum physics or something like that, would he really even be able to carry on a conversation in that area? I mean, I know there's some of you out there that actually could, but the truther community, or what we call, when our red flags go up on people because we know that they're playing us and they were put in position to make us falter, you know. Why, anyway, I was thinking with a rabbi, wouldn't you be flattered if somebody wanted to, like, learn about your, maybe not just even religion, but your faith? I would be totally flattered, no matter what culture or heritage or nationality I was, if somebody wanted to learn what I knew or thought. Yeah, I don't know. You'd think that people would be flattered instead of putting them down for their curiosity, you know? Or maybe it isn't even curiosity. Maybe it's just find out the differences between faiths and beliefs, you know? I don't know. Oh, like usual, just shooting the breeze with you. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. I just came in from outside. Just it's 64 degrees here, Fahrenheit, with a breeze. Just nice. I don't know if it's going to get hot today. I haven't really looked at the weather report here or anything, but yeah. I'm a little distracted. I had put this shirt away. It's I'm a party waiting to happen. Long time ago, but I washed it a few months ago and it still smells so good. And so, like, I'm just a little distracted, isn't? Yeah, it doesn't take much to get to distract me. No, it does. I'm just kidding. But Yeah, I've thrown some pretty nice parties in my life. Not lately, but I think if any family ever comes around, I would do like I've always done. Or, friends. I used to have a lot of friends that would stop in, but some of them, if they haven't died, some of them are in retirement homes or just close to it. One of my friends almost died and, yeah. She ended up being okay, but yeah, for a while there, she was going through some rough stuff. Yeah, when you get older, that's what happens. I remember my adopted dad being sad because all his friends, when he was about maybe 55 or so, a lot of his friends were being extinguished. And the reason I say that is because some of them were um, Illuminati, so I can't really say. I'm pretty sure their souls are in limbo for what I believe is the Great Judgment Day. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not there. I believe I've died before and came back. And that's something, too, I know that in Judaism they believe. And Christianity doesn't quite teach it like that. Or like maybe in India with Hinduism or whatever. But I definitely don't believe like some cultures believe that according to what you do, you'll come back. Like if you weren't a very nice person, you might come back as a bug or somebody's cat or, I don't believe that. I believe we're made in God's image, and if He doesn't think that we're fit to be around decent people, I believe that that is an exodus and the decent people do go home to the Lord, or what people would call God. There's people that believe they lord over this earth. I got an issue with that. God can. Representations of God can. I barely give them an ear, but I will give them an ear. I'm super selective on what comes into my psyche and what I keep there. I mean, I can hear it, but I'll get these little indicators inside if something's off, It's like with Rabbi Singer, when I brought it to his attention that Christians don't want to become Jews, just because I studied Hinduism or Islam or Buddhism or does that, or even some practices like sun salutations and yoga, does that mean that I'm a yogi or a Buddhist monk? Just means that I studied other cultures. Could Rabbi Singer actually tell me a ceremony from a Sioux ceremony, the Native Americans? I wouldn't think so. I don't think so, you know? So no, not all of us out here are trying to convert into past religion that has caused people a lot of problems and still allows bloodshed. No, we're not trying to be that. So, at least I'm not. Maybe some of you are. I don't know. Good luck to you. All the best wishes. And I mean that, you know. So, I don't think it's going to serve you well. But who knows? I mean, when you're raised by a Protestant mother, a Jewish father, that are all connected in the dark cabal, and then they put you in Catholic girls' school. You're a little diverse to begin with, you know. And then my church, personally, that I became a member of, but didn't really support after I knew what the Masonic Blue Book, not their Bible, but their Blue Book in accordance to the New Testament. When I learned that they were trying to wipe out all those that were of the Christ blood, Christ, wiping out Christ on this planet, away from mankind. It's like, okay, now I got a problem. And even when I found out the churches, like when I was in the church, I don't know if some of you know, but I had the opportunity, which was a little rare and a little spooky and looking back at it, I mean, there was a bathroom right off of the pastor's office, which was a library, and but he locked the door when he put me in there so I could read and not be disturbed. But looking back at it, and I looked at the window and I thought, well, it is the ground floor. I could like jump out if there was a fire or something, but it was still just a little bit odd looking back at it. But there were books in there like Sanhedrin and everything. Every book from every religion, even the dark arts that I could ever conceive. And then when I went to reading white papers and gematria that was actually on written paper, like the schematics and the makings of our physicalness and every aspect to our life. They had like a compilation of different things, and it was all written material. It wasn't something I could just look up or anything, but I did have the opportunity to learn a lot when I was a kid. So, and it was my thirst for knowledge. I mean, I didn't want to become a part of a church if I didn't understand the depth of it. And I don't know why. Well, I know why now, but back then I didn't know why that was offered to me. And I really didn't know why I accepted it, but I ended up even with this book that was made out of skin. There was these 3 white books, and it just felt creepy. And I could feel that it was skin, you know. I don't think it was human. It might have been some type of animal. I don't know, but isn't that creepy? And it's the truth. I am telling you the absolute truth. It was, I had, like I told you, I have had a very strange life. Especially my childhood was beyond strange. Really, really weird. Like when you grow up with different languages in your household, and one of them, you know, physical languages, but there's other languages like telepathy. You know, people can say one thing but think another, and you can clearly hear people thinking, unless they're masters of disguise of that, which people had a really hard time mastering their thoughts around me. I have a way of bringing that out in people. Yeah, I'm gifted like that. And then they would get mad. Yeah, what do you do? Especially my mom, my adopted mom. Poor thing. I guess she's still kicking it. I think she's about 91 or 92 now, somewhere around in there. Yeah. I have prayed for her to get her head on straight, but she thinks I need to, but I'm not in the Eastern Star. She is, so that should say it all, you know. But she really hated it too when the rest of the women in the Star liked me. That drove her crazy. They weren't supposed to like me, Can you imagine being the head of, she's a worthy matron. She was installed as that. Not that she actually, in my eyes, but whatever. But could you imagine your enemy or your friends liking your enemy? I can. I've had it happen quite often. Oh well. Friends and family. Yeah, it's a betrayal of sorts, but I mean, I think they actually had more humanity in them, you know, than she does. She's really a cold one. Super, super cold. The only time that thing cried is when it suited her. It was like, turn on the waterworks for its sympathy type of thing. And I used to feel very protective over her for a while, I was thinking about narcissistic women. Somebody else was talking about them, how like they'll even backstab who they call like their own best friends, or go after each other's boyfriends or whatever, all that type of stuff. And the worst thing about these things is their lack of nurturing in the motherhood position. She wasn't able to have kids, so they bought a couple. But and I don't think that's appropriate. Most adoptees don't, but you would really have had to been an orphan to be able to speak from that. But a lot of adoptees won't tell you the truth because they're benefiting from the family that they were placed in. And I could have and chose not to, because when it's so important that it's going to harm other people, that's where I ethically and morally draw the line, and that's where people like that are morally lacking. And within myself, my honesty, I could not live with knowing that and not letting other people know. So I started telling anybody who would listen to me about the Masons, and I'd point out lodges in their towns. I had been all over the United States and countries when I was a kid, or a young adult, and would point these things out to people, and either they were clueless or a part of it. And a lot of the time, most of the time, I felt like they were a part of it. I felt like they knew something about me that I didn't even know when I was young, that I know now, So, yeah, beware. Just a word to the wise. Um, the Masons and the Eastern Star have things they call like pancake breakfasts or spaghetti dinners or bazaars where they sell crafts and arts and baked goods, and I would be really leery of going into their establishment or whatever they want to call it and participating in any of their type of stuff like that. Yeah, I would be leery of it. And they're said to be like entrepreneur, or no, what do you call it? Just a minute. Starts with an A. I'll get there. I'm a little tired today. I tried to sleep in, but Doug's cat was barfing right outside my bedroom door, and that woke me up. It was so, but yeah, oh, what do you call it? I'll get there. I know I will get there. A lot of times, like if I forgot something and then I'll remember it when I'm uploading it or whatever. I've done that before. Altruistic. Yeah, no, that's not it. Uh, um, it's where they give money away. Um, there's a word for it. Hmm. Dang it. Well, maybe I'll think of it later. Not a big deal. Yeah, I made my point anyway. They appear to be upstanding in the society, but if you spent time with the people themselves, you would find out that the atmosphere is more that of a second-rate dive bar, not even a cocktail lounge, just someplace stuck in the hole somewhere. Yeah. And I'm still trying to think of that word. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I did have a little bit of a headache. It's starting to kind of wane. That reminds me of Doug's middle name, Wayne. Isn't that a odd? And a wane means to kind of like ease off or to go away, or it just, the English language is weird. It really is. Words mean so many other things. And the dark cabal knows it too. This is the language of Satan. It isn't, and it's a combination of everybody's. It's not English. Cheers, everybody. Yeah. Very strange. And then I was thinking about how, like, both our brothers are juniors and they're both named William in the middle, which is weird, a little odd. And all our numbers in gematria, even our kids, correlate. And our parents, even my birth parents, which all of that is not happenstance, I don't believe, So, but it just tells me that the one that heads the dark cabal within their spirits had their kids named in accordance to his will, not God's will. That's I'm sure why God is going to give us a new name and new robes, new robes, get it? White ones. Clean us up after this mess, you know. Entrepreneur. No, is that? Did I say that? No, it's an entrepreneur, I think, is the word I was searching for. I don't know. Little foggy today still. It's 11:30. I got up a couple hours ago, a little bit after 9. I had stayed up about well, I was watching a movie called Girl on a Mountain. about this little deaf girl that watched her dad kill her mom. And the mom was deaf and dumb. The little girl could hear, but she signed. And she met this man out in the woods, and then the bad guys were coming to get her. Her dad and his brothers or whatever had gotten in this truck and then had drove up the mountain as far as they could drive and were going to walk the rest of the way to go take her out because she had seen this murder, you know. But I fell asleep, and then I woke up while some other movie was playing. I'm going to go back and watch the rest of it tonight. It was to see what happened to her. And the cool thing about it is I do believe at the beginning of the movie it showed a girl that I think it was the guy that was up on the mountain, the good guy, that his wife left him, left the wedding ring with a note, and it said, like, losing her, it was your fault. She left the ring and the note and left. So he ended up on this mountain by himself. The beginning of the movie, it showed this dude sitting on a mountain with a gun in his mouth ready to blow his head off. I've actually felt like that before, and God stopped me. I really, I was so devastated for a part of my life. Whew. When I knew my kids were going into danger and I couldn't help them, and they did end up getting brutalized. And if you've ever taken a punch from a very strong person or several, or just had the crap totally beat out of you, and you were a mother and knew that your children were going into a situation like that, you would lose your mind, and I damn near did, you know. But God kept me strong. So I saved Doug's life like that too, because, yeah, he went through some devastating stuff like that. One time he was out in his shop with the car on, running, and it's airtight, and all the doors were closed. And I ended up calling the police to get them to open the door, because they would have broke it down, you know. So that was a long time ago, but that doesn't make any difference, you know. People's sorrows can really lead them into what people call the dark night of the soul. Yeah, if you don't have God in your heart or angels protecting you, you'll probably die, you know. But every time the school bus, I mean, I was here almost 5 years, going to school, working, raising my children, and the kids never heard from their dad at all. And not right away. First, he tried to kind of live close around here and didn't live up to, and then he left to the kids um, with no clothes right before school was going to start the next day, and so sharing custody didn't work out. But he met somebody with a lot of money, and that didn't look too good for me, because I was living in a house where I wasn't married at first, and I had my separate room, and I would take care of the grounds and the house for rent. I didn't just, you know, I never expected anybody to do anything for in my life, and I left my house. It was almost paid for to move up here, actually, to be safe and to be around friends that would protect me. So, a lot of them ex-bikers that really wouldn't pull any punches or hold any thing back in protecting somebody they cared about, you know. So I moved up here. Yeah. So anyway, after 5 years, my kids went with their dad. Lucky they were older, but still it didn't help. It didn't help me. Like I say, the school bus would come by and my knees had just hit the ground. I mean, even if I didn't fall, my whole soul just fucking crumbled, you know. Anyway, because I knew my children weren't safe. Still not safe. And I know it's because of that. Yeah. So if you've ever been through anything like that, I don't know, but it's effing devastating. It's bad enough under normal circumstances where the parents get along and share custody. And I mean I had rights where I could speak to them and everything, but it didn't work out. And they ended up coming back, both of them, separately, different things, but because his name was Zach, or is Zach, and Barb, number two, his new wife, or she's old now, but isn't that odd that I told him to marry somebody with my same name so he didn't do like his dad and wake up in the middle of the night calling out his ex's name in this way. He could do it, and she'd never know. You know, I'm not that arrogant. I don't even care. You know, when I kicked him out, it wasn't, and I did physically kick him out. I got so sick of it, I was ready to take him off this earth. And when I started thinking like that, it was time for it to end, and I went and got a legal separation and let him file the divorce. I did not care. So a lot of that was to keep my bank account from getting any worse than the damage that he had done to it, and my reputation. You know, I didn't want to be a party to the filth that it was involved with. You know, I even have proof of different things, tangible proof of this person lying to the state, paperwork that the courts refused to honor or even care about. They said they cared about the children, but they didn't. You know, they found out. Some people think that the moms always get the kids and things work out like that. Nah, not always. Or some people may think that because the mom didn't get the kids, that there was something wrong within her. And I was already working in psychology and had went to a psychiatrist to try and get my family members to go into counseling with me so we could work things out. I wanted to take the Masons to counseling, and they wouldn't come with me. All of them, including the kid's dad. Whoever wanted to come in and have an open voice on the mental illness that was around me, and I wanted to prove it, not just to the world, but to my kids, you know. So, and had my kids in counseling too. So, I mean, when I kicked their dad out, I watched him punch my 9-year-old in his head so hard the kid hit the ground. He got a broken leg for that. Judo's a good thing to learn when you're dealing with monsters. And that's how I got them out of my house, too. In the middle of the night, a surprise attack, you know. So back to the narcissist women not being able to have a real friendship or actually be a real mother. There's no way. Why? And these mothers like that, I swear, and Doug knows this too, it's like they don't nurture their sons, and they think they're going to keep their sons with them forever. And they take steps and actions towards that through the kid's whole life. I hopefully tried to raise my sons to be independent men and to go off on their own and separate in a healthy manner from me. These people don't do that. They whip their kids, sons, into submission emotionally, where they're not even able to have another relationship besides that woman, which is the most terrible thing in the world that a mother could do to her kid. That's my thoughts on that. So I was thinking about that today. I mean, most of the time I've been around quite a few women like that, but most of the time I didn't really care. But there's some times in my life where it would get to me, especially if it is like a family member, you know, or even my adopted brother. I wonder sometimes if he ever misses a healthy relationship with a woman that he was never able to have because of the interference that he suffered, or if that trade for riches was worth it. I wonder that often, but who knows? You know, I have a fly that's bugging me. I'm going to get this uploaded and I'm going to kill that little thing, but yeah, I wanted to just say hello today and wish everybody a happy rest of your weekend or new week ahead wherever you're at. I hope the rabbi understand that a Zionist Christian and a Christian with Christ in their heart that doesn't belong to any uniformed church isn't the same thing. We believe in the same God. I think we all do. And our understanding of that differs, our thoughts on that differ. And Christians aren't trying to be Jews unless they're a Zionist, which is a branch of Judaism, which would be like the Catholic and the Lutheran and Methodist, and you god dang thing, you're gonna die. So anyway, we all die, don't we? So, all right, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Have a really good night or day, wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.